Hello everyone, in this tutorial we're gonna make the motion sensor with the software called TouchDesigners. As you can see in that operators, the white circle trace your hand motion so in that operators, and that position can be output as the chop signals. That may be useful or interesting when you make your works that, for example, reacts to the human motion or something like that. Okay, let's start. Let's start from the first view of the TouchDesigners and delete all and delete the palette browser tools. And first, put the video device in to get the camera view. I'm using the web camera. That's not expensive. And here is unnecessary areas, just a little bit. Unnecessary areas like here and these triangle areas. So it's better to crop. You'd better crop with your crop operators. Bottom areas like this, and top a little bit. Okay, just a little bit, and but still remaining these triangle areas, and so we're gonna cut them off with the stoners. It's in the palette browser's tools tab, and S areas here, and drag and drop here. Okay, there it is, stoners, and open the stoner windows here, and here is a second windows of the stoners, and connect it to input the original images, and here is the camera views, and there is 4 stones here, and with the center wheel the view can scroll small out, and when you move the stones the view transform with a linear scale. There is a linear transformation of the images, and with that, this time I'm gonna fit this blue sheets to the red rectangles. In these YouTube movies, maybe you can't see the red rectangle because it's very thin, but we can fit that like this. Okay, and then I close the windows, and when you, for example, connect the input 1 to the null, as you can see, there is a faded images of the camera views. That can be, it's better to use than the original, these ones. Okay, but the stoner has much processing in with that. As you can see with in your palette browser, the probe operators, when you drag and drops, here's probe operators, and hit the Control P as written on that, and there is another second view of the probe, small out. Okay, and get into these project windows, and there is there appears 5 circles here, and as you can see, each of the circle is related to each of these 5 operators, and when you see that, this one is the biggest circles in the 5 circles, and the color is a little bit close to the red. It's a stoners here. Stone, it's related to this stone window. It's have a very much calculation in that. So, and we should be avoid that to minimum the calculation in these whole operators, and there is a good way to do that. First, scroll out. First, connect another null to this second input to the stoners of the stoners, and there is a green and red maps appears, and log that. When you do that, that this operator did not change anymore without the rocks, and then when you connect to the remaps that sorry, and not first input but second input to the green and the red maps, And in the first input of the remaps, your original images, you connect your original image. When you do that, the same transformations is happening in the remaps. And then, as this locks is working here, we can stop the stoner calculations. The stoner is not working, but still remaining these green and red maps. So we can do the same transformation without the stoners, and the calculation is much less, so it's better than the before. Okay, as you can see, it's the better stoner using in here. Okay, and then adjust a little bit, so like that, and no need for null one. Okay, after that we're gonna make the motion sensor here. Okay, then after that we're gonna make work in the containers. Because it's so easy to treat as a motion sensor, and put the in here and out here. When you do that, there appears the input and the output connectors here, and so connect the images. There appears the images too in your in operators, and this time we're gonna want to wanna move the circles, white circle. And so adjust the size to 0.05 or so, and connect the input here, and we're gonna move with the center parameters, the white circles after now, and connect the output here, and then you can output the images like this. Okay, and yeah, we're gonna make this black window, a black view to the this inner out one. So dot slash out one. That means the dot slash means the inner one, inner out one. That means this one. Okay. And after that, we're gonna fit the aspect of this view and the operator size too. So let's change the width and the height operators, and let's change all operators quotation mark dot slash out one. That means the inner out one, quotation mark parenthesis dot width. Dot width. That means the inner this one's image width is same as 640, and copy it and paste, and just change the width to the height. Okay, and then the size becomes the same as the images. It's easy to treat. Okay, then we're gonna make the motion sensors after that. When you want to make the motion sensors, that means the difference from the current images of the original images to the past images that made with the cache operators, and the lengths that take back to the past written by this output indexing parameters. When you change that to the -1, that means the -1 frame before or from this original images, and this is the difference from the current view and the past view. That means the motion point. As you can see, there is a motioning hand is appearing. This is the motion sensing, and we want to copy it 3 times and change the output -2, and this one is a -3 or maybe 5 is better, I think. And after that, we're gonna make the average the composite here, and not analyze, average of these three difference operators, and that maybe this average makes less noise that made from the frame calculations. Okay, and this is the motion images, and we're gonna want to analyze the position or so. We're gonna make the analyze operators here. and then let's make the horizontal analysis here. And this is the horizontal average of this operator. Just like you pressed into the one horizontal line, the images, that means the average. And after that, change the columns to the row, copy it, and change the columns to the rows. That means the vertical line, something just like you press your images horizontal direction in the 1 pixel lines. It's like that is the average of the images. Okay. And then after that, put the top 2 operators. And with that, drag and drops, you can get the horizontal distribution of these images. And copy it, and change, drag and drop. And we can get vertical distributions too. But for the first, this becomes just only one signal appearing, because in the crop tab, crop parameters become rows. So let's change it to the columns. And with that, the vertical distribution is appearing, but it's only the half of the images. Because V start becomes 0.5 and the end is 1. 0.5 position here to 1 position here. So it's only the half images. So we should make V start to the 0. Okay, and that is now 0 to 1 whole images. Okay, and this time we don't use the green and the blue signals because the top 2 operators have match calculations too. Only the red signals is useful too. Okay, and we can get these distributions, and after that we're gonna get the highest position of the images with analyze operators and the function. Let's change the function to the index of the highest peak, and this number becomes the highest point pixels from the left to right. And we'd better to change allows the peak to off and off. That means when there's no signals, these edge area become the highest, recognized as the highest point. That's not better, I think. And no peak value becomes now -1. And that means that when there is no signals, the signal becomes the -1, but it's not better, I think. It's better to change it to the middle point of the images. That means the center white circle becomes center positioned. And so let's change -1 to the me dot input 0 and me means that this operator itself, and that input 0 means that here these are top 2 operators, and that end means that this graph's right edge point, this one, and it's the 639. And when we want to get the middle point, and multiply 0.5 here. Okay, and we can get the 319.5 middle point. Okay. And copy it and apply to the vertical too. And we can get the highest index here, and let's change the name to the horizontal red with the rename operators, and copy it and apply to the vertical red. And let's merge these 2 signals to one operators with a merge 1. Okay, now we can get position of the highest motion point. In this time, we want to move the white circle with that. That parameters is this center x, y parameters, and that is from -0.5 to 0.5. So, and vertical too. So we have to change the range of these signals. It's now the 0 to 639 pixels. Pixels range is applied here. So let's change the range to the -0.5 to 0.5 with the math operators. And here range, and let's change it from range to like this: me dot input parentheses 0 dot and another input 0 dot start. That means mean operators here, and that's inputs here, and that's again input is here, top to 1, and that start in this graph's left edge point is 0. Okay, and copy it, and to range to, let's change it to end. With that, we can get the 600 light edge. So, okay, we can get the from range here, and let's change from range to minus 0.5 to 0.5. Okay, copy it, and let's change the connection to the vertical one, just like this. Okay, so we can get the minus 0.5 to 0.5 range here. Okay, and then connect out and apply these signals with that. Let's make active with these plus buttons, and apply the horizontal signals to center X, relative chop reference, and the vertical to Y, relative chop reference here. Okay, now we can get the we can make the motion. We can move the wedge circles like this, and when you get out here, we can get the position too with the second output here. But as you can see, the wedge circles motion is a little bit too much quickly vibrating. It's not. It's have very much noise. It's not good. So we're gonna decrease these noises, and let's see that noise itself. As you can see in these graphs, very much teeny noise happening here, and this is spatial noises. And when you make trail and connect the signals here, when you see that, there is much vibrations too. It's the time noises. So we're gonna make the time smoothing and the spatial smoothing and make your graphs smooth. First, make the time smoothing. That can be made with the feedback operators, and it's very useful combination. Feedback, level, and over. Oh, it's very useful combination. So it's maybe you use many times in the TouchDesigner's work, I think. Just a little bit, and connect your images to the feedback, and over first input, and over second input to the level. Let's connect that. Okay, and connect output just like this. With that, let's drag and drop over to the feedback, and usually change the levels opacity parameters 0.95, that kind of numbers. And with that, we can get the ghost effect here, but it's not happening because there is a black area. That's alpha signals. It's all whole one. So feedback image is not screened over. So we have to change black area to the transparencies. And so let's insert the other operators called channel mix here. Then change LED value to the alpha 1, green to alpha 1, blue to alpha 1, and the original alpha to the 0. With that, we can get a black area to the transformation and the signals, only the signals in the alpha. And with that, the feedback operators now can screen over with the original images. Some effect like a ghost is working here. We gonna make opacity a little bit less, a little bit lower, my 0.8 or so. And when you do that, as you can see, the less signal, less vibration is you can see, just like that. Make higher than. Okay, now the vibration become less with time smoothing. And then, okay, and let's get rid of these teeny noises with the spatial smoothing. And about the spatial smoothing, only just inserting the blur operators, that's all. And the pre-shrink is now maybe 3, and the filter size is maybe 11 is better, I think. With that, as you can see, that these teeny needle become decreased and the graph become very smooth. That's good, I think. The white circle motion become less vibrated, less noisy. But when you don't move the images, but still white circle is motioning because it's still remaining the signals. That's not the extinguish at all, because the feedback and the level combination can get rid of these not motioning areas perfectly. So we have to cut them off with a filter out with insert another level here after the blur, and the level here, and let's change in the range tab in low to be 0.2 this time. Okay, with that we can cut them up, unnecessary not extinguished areas, just like this. Okay, and the now the room is a little bit brighter, so the signal become very quickly clearly you can see with 0.2. But when you making your this view with in your darker room, and maybe we have to adjust these parameters after that. Okay, now we can get graphs very smoother and more. Okay, now we can get the circle a little bit natural, but now the white circle become moving very quickly in your only just one frame without a blink. So it's not a natural thing. So it's better to insert the filter here, and that make the circle motion more smooth. And let's change the filter width to 0.5 or so. With that, the circle's motion become not so quickly, it's very natural, I think, filtered. Become very smooth, I think. It's very natural. Okay, and now we can get the motion sensor like this. Okay, then let's get out. This is now the motion sensor operator. Let's change the name to motion sensor. This operator, when you think it's very useful and we want to use many times, it's better to put into your original components areas and right click and save component. There appears the windows, and choose your documents and derivative folders. Palette we can save with your original names, like motion sensor for YouTube. Let's change the name to your as you like. And when you do that, we can see that in the palette browsers and my components, and right click and refresh. When you do the click the refresh folders, there appears the motion sensor YouTube. It just I made it just now. Let's drag and drop in here. When you drag and drop in your TouchDesigners, we can pull out the same motion sensor operators here whenever you like. It's very useful. And when you do that, it's better to make the inner parameters out of the component. And so let's make the original parameters to the containers here. Right click and customize component window. Let's open the customize component window and the parameters here. Okay, it's a little bit hard to see because there is much windows here, but let's do that. Okay, let's make regional parameters and the regional pages here. This parameters window is the same as the regional, these components, this area too. It's same as these areas and these areas, and now the same effect has the same view, same table. Okay, and then let's get into that, and let's make original pages, just like motion sense add page. When you do that, your original tab appeared here, and let's make regional parameters here, something like cache index, and let's change float, not float, it's an integer, and 3 integers, and add parameters here. There appears your original parameters, cache index, and we gonna get applied to the here this cache operator's output index, and the default setting parameters, I think, -1, cache 2 to the -2, and cache 3 to the -3 or -5. The output index is now a negative number, so it's better to clamp max and change the max value to the 0. And more, arrange minimum become -100 or so, or it's changed to the negative number. Okay, then let's apply to this original -1 and the -2 and the -3. Okay, cache index 3 to the this cache 3 relative chapter reference, and the 2 to the cache 2. This original component making treatment becomes a little bit long work, so maybe you can skip your YouTube movies as you like. Okay, and then first one is now applied. Oh, sorry, there's a wrong output index 1. Okay, it's correct. And then after that, and the other let's make other parameters too. First, let's make feedback areas. Let's make other pages, spatial, time smoothing. Add a page, and there appears the time smooth tags and the parameters, and now the TouchDesigner can make the parameters only just drag a regional parameters to these parameter text areas parameters, drag and drop, and there appears opacity parameters, and there appears this text read set reference expression source, and when you click that, automatically opacity become applied with these regional expressions, I think. And when you click these buttons, this parameters number becomes same as the regional numbers too. Now become the 0.968. Okay, it's very useful, I think. And the other feedback reset parameters, set reference expressions on source, and buttons too, expression pulse, and let's make a section here. That's easy to see. Reset areas here. Okay, time smoothing is that's all. Then spatial smoothing. Space smooth. Let's add another pages, just like this, and there appears space smoothing. Blur, pre-shrink, set reference expression on source, filter size, set expression on source, and the default value applied to the original number 0 and 11, and set order right number, set order light, and the other, and here filter out is now maybe it's better to insert into the time smoothing areas parameters in low here. Okay, I forgot. Oh, I forgot to click the set text, the set reference expression on source, and disappeared. It now disappeared. So we have to apply it from this parameters window. Time smoothing here in low, drag and drop here. Relative chop reference, just like this. Just only that. Applied. Original number, not 0. Now 0.8 or so. Okay. And then now let's math is not merged, and yeah, filters. Let's add a page filter and effect with parameters. Set expression on source. Click that. I don't know how to call these buttons, but let's click that. And then, oh yeah, here the circle. Last page is circle. Add page, and yeah, let's get into the parameters. Fill color. Set reference expression on source. Radius. Okay, set reference expression on source, and default. Let's set default like this. Okay, only that. Oh, sorry, I forgot to fill alpha here and here. Set here. Only that. Yeah, that's all I think. Okay, now we can get the original parameters like this. Yeah, it's very useful. We can adjust a little match parameters here. Okay, now we can get this original component out of these operators, not in here. So, for example, when there is no motion, but white circle is still motioning. Now we have to adjust the motion space smoothing, not time smoothing in low parameters. 0.18 is not enough, so let's change it to 0.2 or so. And that, yeah, white surface stopped. He stopped now, something like that. Yeah, original parameters is very useful. Okay, and let's update it. Save component. Right click, save dot component, and save, and write over. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.